Show me.
Hello everybody, Martial Arts Film Freak here, and I am ranking movies. 5 movies, 6 movies, yes, 6. Criterion just released the full 6 movie collection of Once Upon a Time in China, and I figured what better time for me to start ranking some films. The Once Upon a Time in China series stars Jet Li, mostly directed by Tsui Hark, except for 2 movies. I will discuss those 2 movies and who directed them when I get to them. 2 of the movies also don't star Jet Li and star Vincent Zhao. Bummer. No, we'll get there when we talk about it. But, yes, I'm going to rank these films. Some are good, some are great, some are absolutely iconic, and some are just they don't fit, they're not good. And let's talk about them. Which ones are those? Let's rank, let's do it. Let's rank all 6 Once Upon a Time in China movies. Starting with the worst one, number 6 is Once Upon a Time in China 4. This is the first film that does not star Jet Li and stars Vincent Zhao, and is also not directed by Tsui Hark. The film is instead directed by Bun Yuan, I don't know how to pronounce your name, and this is actually the first time I've ever read it. This is actually the first film he has ever directed. Now, this movie is just very flawed entirely. I watched it last night, and I remember almost nothing about it. There's a cult full of women, and then there's a lot of lion dancing. Now, the previous film also features a lot of lion dancing, and it gets a little too out of hand. This one gets really out of hand. It also stopped focusing almost entirely on like grounded, good choreography kung fu, and just goes like batshit crazy with the wire work. I don't mind wire work. I'm not offended by wire work, but if you could give me a good blend of both, I'd very much appreciate it. We don't get that blend, and it makes me very sad. The movie starts off very promising. It opens on just a gorgeous martial arts display, a gorgeous kung fu display by Vincent Zhao with a wonderful backdrop. And it's almost like it's telling you, like, hey, we know it's not Jet Li, but I promise you it's gonna be good. And it didn't keep its promise. The movie also does not feature Rosamund Kwan, which, as I found watching all of these movies, she is just delightful. She's wonderful. She's one of the best parts of these movies, and there she's not in the 4th at all. Gone. Gone is she. Made me very sad. But the whole time I was like, when she show up, she's gonna show up, right? She's gonna be there. She wasn't there. There's highlights. There are highlights. The kung fu in all of these movies, there's always some good kung fu. There is some good kung fu in this movie. It just was not a lot, and by the end of the movie, I was like, well, thank God that one was over. And it was only like an hour 40 minutes, so it's probably like the shortest. And thank God for that. Number 5. The second worst. Shocker probably to some people. I don't know. Maybe you don't feel the same way. Once Upon a Time in China 3. This one does have Jet Li. Yep. Now, this isn't the first one that tries to balance multiple villains. The second one, of course, has like a cult and then also Donnie Yen's villain, and it works really, really well. This one has a British guy and a guy in a kung fu school who really wants to win this lion competition called the Lion King. Couldn't stop thinking about the actual Lion King. These people dancing around in their lion dances, and it's a competition on who can get this plaque. And really, the whole time I'm just thinking they're about to fight for the Pride of Rock, something Pride Rock. I don't remember Lion King very well. But, yeah, 2 villains, and it didn't work very well. I didn't care for either of them. Neither of them were very compelling or entertaining. It really focused on the lion stuff, the lion dances, the lion competition, and it's fine. I like that stuff. I think it's gorgeous. I love it in, which ones? I love it in Martial Club, and I love it in Martial Arts of Shaolin. In this one, though, like, there's a specific competition, and then everyone's cheating, so you don't really know what the rules are and how it works, and you're just kind of following along as best you can. And I couldn't. The good thing that the third movie does, though, is it introduces Clubfoot. Clubfoot is played, I gotta see, by this actor whose name I never remember, even though every time I see him, I'm very happy to see him. Jin Jin Jiang. Hope I pronounced that right. Zhang Jin Jin. I love that dude. He's great. Every time I see him, I've seen him mostly older these days because I see him in like Shaolin and a couple other movies, and every time I see him, I'm like, yep, love to see that dude. Good to see you here, buddy. And he's so young in this, and I'm like, I know that guy. But he comes in as fighting for like this bad guy's school, and he's a nutcase. He's an animal. He's just all rabid, and he's like, I'm Clubfoot, and he starts kicking everything and doing flips and kicking everybody, and probably don't even know who he's actually supposed to be fighting. He's just so ready to freaking brawl, and then he gets injured. Like, his leg is messed up, and he's just like cast out by his school, and he's just crawling around the streets. Finally, Wong Fei Hung picks him up and is like, yo, dude, like, sorry this happened to you. I'll come fix you up. We'll be good. And he becomes a good guy. He becomes a good guy throughout the entire series. From 3 to 6, he's in it. And I'm so thankful because he became my favorite character. My favorite character in this series is Clubfoot. And the best thing this movie did is introduce Clubfoot. If a moment it like isn't doing very good on the action, Clubfoot's gonna come in, he's gonna f some people up, and it's gonna be dope. Other than Clubfoot, and of course Rosamund Kwan, I didn't like 3 at all. Number 4, and this is when I would say the movies are genuinely good. From here on out, from 4 to 1, these movies are good, and I recommend watching these ones. I mean, watch all of them if you want, but this ranking number 4 to 1, I was very happy with the movie. Number 4, though, is going to be Once Upon a Time in China 5, which was a huge surprise, leading from Once Upon a Time in China 4. Now, the movie started off on a bad foot. I was scared. The movie worried me because it opens on the exact same kung fu display as the last movie, as the 4th movie. The one that I said is almost like they're saying, hey, we're sorry it's not Jet Li, but we promise it's going to be good. It opens on the exact same thing. And I was like, oh no, we're doing it again. And then it didn't do it again. 5 felt like The Mummy meets Pirates of the Caribbean. And it was dope, it was good, and I liked it a lot. We had Wong Fei Hung, Clubfoot, and some other people I'll get to fighting pirates. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I needed. I need something to spice this thing up. Pirates. Did it. I'm not even joking. It's pirates. It's rad. Yongfoon is in all these movies except for 6, and he's the comic relief. Sure, he's a student, and he's like, oh, I'm plucky, but I'm doing my best. I'm an idiot. I'm a freaking asshole. He's just annoying. Like in the first 2, he's like, yeah, okay, like you're incompetent, and that's the joke. But Jesus, he gets worse. He just went from being the incompetent comic relief to being an absolute idiot, buffoon, dumbass who got really annoying and started to infect Clubfoot a bit. Clubfoot became a little bit dumb when he was hanging out with him, and I didn't like it. I was like, stop hanging out with this dude, Clubfoot. Whew, he's annoying. He does get some good stuff in, though. He does some good knife throws. He shows some competence in being good at throwing knives, and then he gets some good kicks in. I will say that. Other than that, anytime he opens his mouth, shut the fuck up. Oh, also, one reason this movie probably also stepped up in quality is it was directed by Sui Hark. Thank God. But good fight with the police, good fight with pirates, lots of good fights with pirates. I really enjoyed the plot. I love the story a lot. It was really, really good. And then Kent Chang shows up, and I'm like, I freaking love Kent Chang, and he gets to fight in this movie. Kent Chang doesn't normally do much fighting in movies, and he's fantastic in this. Anytime he stepped up to do some fighting, I'm like, I love your character. And then it wasn't just that. Kent Chang also brought someone else with him. He brought a dude with glasses who was a really good sharpshooter, but I'll get to that. He brought Rosamund Kwan. She came back, and I was like, oh, thank God you have returned. You were needed, and you were missed. Very happy to see her. But this dude with the glasses, it was fun. There's this part where all the main characters are sort of, they find this cache of guns, and they start training with them. And none of them can shoot, not even Wong Fei Hung. But then all of a sudden, this dude with the glasses picks up some guns, and he's like, just hitting every target. Nails it. Turns out the dude is a natural, and he was freaking amazing, and it was very entertaining. At one point, our gang goes undercover with the pirates, try to blend in, try to get some intel, try to get in and arrest some people, and yeah, I'm having fun. The movies were finally like, you know what, maybe we should quit dealing with the whole, battling evil foreigners, but some of the foreigners are nice whole thing, and maybe let's just go nuts and just fight some pirates. And I liked it. Clubfoot's a beast. I liked all the villains. Wong Fei-hung is, of course, Wong Fei-hung. Jet Li. Sorry, it's not Jet Li. It was Vincent Zhao, although he was very good. Yeah, this is a very entertaining movie. If you're gonna watch them, I recommend you watch 5, because it's just entertaining. Kung Fu, pirates, hell yes, let's do it. Now, my notes, I have written one specific movie for number 3. Of course, you know, the ranking all 6. I have decided to pull an audible and change my mind, and I'm going to upset people here. But again, hear me out. I said 4 to number 1, these are good movies. And you should definitely watch them. Hell, these last 3 are great movies. Number 3, the third best, is Once Upon a Time in China 2. And I already hear the Donnie Yen fans and the huge Kung Fu nerds not happy, not having it, because this one's a lot of people's number 1. Some people number 2, but a lot of people it's their number 1. And I'm not sorry. It's just my personal opinion, man. It's my own thoughts. I apologize. You can tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below, because that's what that's for. And I promise I'll read them, I'll reply, I'll do everything. I'll hear you out. You can hear me out. Hopefully listening to this, watching this, me typing down below. But number 2 is the third best. And it's only because there's a lot of area in the middle of this movie that is boring. Boring. Yes, Donnie Yen's amazing. Yes, Jet Li is amazing. Yes, Tsui Hark is amazing. Yes, Rosamund Kwan is, as she is in all of these movies, absolutely freaking delightful. You know what this movie doesn't have? Clubfoot, but that's not its fault. This movie's just got a lot of space in the middle that I'm like, you are boring me. There is a skirmish at the beginning of the movie in which Jet Li looks fantastic. Tsui Hark absolutely knows how to capture Jet Li, and it's beautiful. There is, of course, all the fight scenes at the end I'll get to. One thing I did notice with this movie that I maybe didn't notice in the first is that Tsui Hark is so good at capturing depth of field within a scene. Normally, even like a lot of Shaw Brothers, even Golden Harvest films, there's not a lot of depth to a scene. Like, it just kind of looks flat. We're watching our fight and that's about it. But in these movies, Tsui Hark just knows how to fill a background, make a scene look absolutely gorgeous, give a scene environment and depth, and make the whole room a character. And it's gorgeous, and it just does nothing but aid an already fantastic fight scene. It was amazing. I love the foreshadowing in this movie. There is some foreshadowing that made me extremely happy. You know, normally in your Kung Fu and your martial arts movies, you get sort of a foreshadowing by like setting up that special move. The one you always go to, the one I always go to, for example, being the crane kick. We see Mr. Miyagi practice it, we see Daniel practice it, and then he hits the crane kick at the very end of the movie, and we're all like, holy Jesus Christ, crane kick. That is a thing in this movie, but it's so subtle that when it happens at the end, when you call back to it earlier in the movie, you're like, yes, I remember, that was so good. What happens is Donnie Yen has Jet Li over and immediately throws him a pole, and they start dueling because he's testing his skills, because it's the legendary Wong Fei-hung. And they're surrounded by other bamboo poles, and like, you know, they're bouncing off of them, and Jet Li would hit a few of the bamboo rods sticking out of the ground. And somebody goes and inspects one and is like, oh, it's not that strong, this didn't even break. And then all of a sudden it just like whoosh, cuts in half and it's broken. Like, that's the power of Wong Fei-hung, that like one strike and it's like, oh, it didn't do anything, and all of a sudden it just collapses because he destroyed it. Yes, that comes back around at the end of the fight scene in the very end of the movie, and I was like, you freaking did it, dude, and oh my god, it was good. Of course, the fights with Donnie Yen and Jet Li are absolutely fantastic. They're amazing. They are both two of the most talented people of their generations. I say their generations because Donnie Yen really has shown a bit more in the more recent years than Jet Li did in the 90s and the 80s. Jet Li, of course, or Donnie Yen does, of course, have a huge 90s career, but he took off in the 2000s, let's be real. It's wonderful. I loved it. There's just a lot of stuff in the middle that I was like, let's move this along, because you are... Number two, and I'll explain it. Don't go mad, don't get mad, don't get crazy, bros. Don't be doing that. Don't. No. Number 2 is Once Upon a Time in China and America. Hear me out. Now I'm already anticipating something good, because I'm aware that the previous 2 movies from this point, 5 and 4, were not Jet Li movies, and I knew Jet Li was back for this. And of course Rosamund Kwan's there, and Clubfoot's there, and I'm really hoping Leung Fun or whatever is not there, because he's just terrible. But then, opening credits, and the movie says, directed by Sammo Hung. No one wanted to tell me that Sammo Hung directed a Jet Li movie? I didn't know about this. Did you know about this? Because I sure didn't. I didn't know Sammo Hung directed a Jet Li movie. Color me surprised! Directed by Sammo Hung. Sure, may mean that the movie may not look as good as a Tsui Hark film. Sure. You know what it does mean? It means the movie is not going to focus so much on the wire stuff, which it still has a good fair amount, but it's going to focus on that kung fu. It's going to focus on that good, grounded choreography martial arts. To the ground, good kicks, punches, exchanges. Sammo Hung knows what the fuck he's doing. There were several times in which there were Native Americans on screen, and whether they were the bad guys or the good guys, or they were fighting, they were having some good fight scenes, or the whole time I was like, I'm not sure if that was a Native American guy, that was either a Chinese guy, a white guy, or TJ Storm. That was a surprise. Some Native American dude showed up ready to brawl, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, I know that face. That's TJ Storm. I don't think he's Native American. But who am I to complain when it's just good kung fu, good martial arts, good fight scenes all the way around? I just enjoyed this. Rosamund Kwan was really delightful. Clubfoot had some dope moments. There's a part in this movie, good 20-30 minutes, where Jet Li just straight up got amnesia. They were drifting down the river. He banged his head on a rock. He gets picked up by some Native American people. He don't know who he is. He's talking to the Native American people. They got a fun thing going on because he's still speaking Chinese, and they're like, I don't understand you, but hey, you're cool with us, bro. It was fun. And then he shows up back into town, and to jog his memory, Clubfoot's like, look, I'm going to fight you until you remember who you are. Now, that's not how that works. Did I say anesthesia earlier? He's got, I don't know what the fuck I said. Amnesia. Did I say amnesia? Did I say anesthesia? I don't know. He had amnesia. And Clubfoot's like, we're going to fight until you remember who you are. He gets like this huge like towel blanket thing, and he like swirls it up just like Donnie Yen did in Once Upon a Time in China 2. He puts on like a pot on his head and he's like, remember this? He's doing things to jog his memory, and the whole time I'm like, you two can just keep fighting, because these two have never fought up until this point. Clubfoot fought some other people earlier, I don't think. Clubfoot fought some other people in 3 before he was a good guy, but now he's fighting Jet Li, and I'm like, fine a frickin' Lee, you two are going at it, but for a good cause. You're still buddies, you're still friends. And I liked it. Oh, also Leung Fun was not there. Not there at all. It was great. It was wonderful. She was gone. And I was thankful. This movie is just overall really entertaining. There's also a lot of elements of this that you would go look forward to Shanghai Noon, and you kind of start looking back at this movie and you're like, did Shanghai Noon take a couple elements of this? Both of them have our kung fu protagonists fighting some Native American people. Both of them have Roger Wan. Suspicious. It's just a good movie. Oh, both of them have, like, our kung fu protagonist pretty much marrying a Native American tribe princess lady. Yep. Amnesia. There's also this dude who's like our white protagonist. He's on their side, and like I love this dude. Was the embodiment of me watching a kung fu movie, because like Clubfoot, sort of threatened by him, and like he puts his hands on Rosamund Kwan, just like on her shoulders, being like, hey, everything's okay, and he's like, why are you touching her? That ain't your lady. And he like kicks his head off, and like he kicks his hat off, and like has his foot like above his head, even though he's shorter than him. And the dude is just like so impressed and so happy. He's like, that was cool. And that's just me. This dude is the embodiment of me watching martial arts movies, kicking shit and me going, that was cool. He didn't say that was cool, but he said he liked it. He was like, I like that. It was great. Yes, but that dude, there's one point where he asked Clubfoot, like, hey, you need to teach me how to do that stuff. And so at the end of the movie, that dude gets some kicks in, because he'd been learning from Clubfoot. Clubfoot's the shit. The movie is just fun. This movie, the Once Upon a Time in China series has everything. It's got pirates, it's got cowboys, it's got death cults, it's got female death cults. It's got Donnie Yen. It's got Clubfoot. It's got Rosamund Kwan. It's delightful. Seriously though, I love this movie. Sammo Hung knew exactly what he was doing. He was making a Sammo Hung movie with Jet Li, and I didn't even know Sammo Hung had directed a Jet Li movie, and I'm so happy that it is true and happened. I'm speaking fast because I'm excited and happy. It's number 2. Be mad. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not. Now, number 1, it's obvious. We're already here. It's the first one. It's Once Upon a Time in China. It's the one that kicked it off. Tsui Hark, Jet Li, Rosamund Kwan. It's just great. Makes me happy. It's good. It's I've talked about it before. I talked about it in my Jet Li Essentials video, the 5 essential films of Jet Li. The first movie was pretty much Hollywood, Hong Kong. The entirety of the Hong Kong film industry. I know it was Golden Harvest, but you know, he had done some smaller movies. He was younger. He did a Shaw Brothers movie, which is good. But this was the movie where the industry just said, "Hey Jet Li, we think you're the guy. And you're going to be the guy." And he became the guy for good reason. The fights are amazing. Yuan Biao is in it as more of a comic fodder. Rosamund Kwan is, of course, there. Jet Li gets some great fights. It's just an all-around great movie. There's a fight at like a theater that just blew my freaking mind. At first, I was like, I don't really know if I like these movies. I'm not a big wire work guy. But then I saw them, and I saw this one, and I'm like, yep, nope, this is my thing. This is wonderful. It's just a great movie. Great fights. I haven't seen it in a while. I didn't watch it. I didn't do a rewatch on my marathon here. I pretty much marathoned all these. I just didn't watch the first one because I was like, you know what? I've seen it. I don't need to rewatch it. I don't have time to rewatch it. I already got to watch 5 of these, and there's 6. But from my memory, I'm going to stick with the first one at number 1. I'm sorry for the people that really like number 2. I'm sorry I put it at 3. But also, I'm not sorry. That theater fight scene is just wonderful. Like, it's just, I don't know what else to say. It's just astonishing. It's glorious. The whole movie is excellent. The final fight, it's just great, man. This first movie is iconic for a reason. It's wonderful. I love it so much. But that's it. That is the ranking of all of the Once Upon a Time in China films. Let's go back through it. Number 6 is number 4. Yep. Number 5 is number 3. I gotta read my shit because I'm losing myself with these numbers here. Number 6, yes, number 6, the worst, is number 4. Number 5 is number 3. Number 4, and this is when they're just good movies, is number 5. 5 is a good movie. Number 3 is the second one with Donnie Yen. Yes, I know people are going to be upset, but I'm sorry. Number 2 is going to be Once Upon a Time in China and America, and then number 1 is number 1. I feel comfortable with that. I'm sure a lot of people don't, but that's what the comment section is for. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. What is your favorite Once Upon a Time in China film? I really loved America. It was wonderful. I mean it. Do all that stuff in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page, Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak, Tristan_Glover on the Twitter, Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.